Welcome back to another edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host Malik, and let's just jump straight into it. This is the day after the shocking Desmond Bane trade to Orlando Magic. If you don't remember, the Grizzlies received Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and four first-round picks, including the Magic's pick for this year, and a pick swap between the two teams. So a big haul for the Grizzlies. Coming from their trade, and Orlando obviously getting a player like Desmond Bane to address the three-point shooting woes that they had last year because they were one of the worst shooting teams last year, if not the worst. So one thing that a lot of people are discussing right now is what's next? Who's next? Well, I don't know if he's next, but he sure is probably one of the few that are next. If you don't know, there are reports that the Grizzlies are looking to conduct a sign and trade involving Santi Aldama. Says the Detroit Pistons are rumored as a team that could swoop into the mix as they have interest in signing Aldama. It was also cited that the Grizzlies are considering that they need to sign Jaren Jackson Jr. to an extension. So obviously, if you don't know, the trade with Desmond Bane kind of opened up doors for signing guys to extensions, one being Jaren Jackson Jr. And it's looking like he's probably going to get a bag this year, considering a guy that was about 10 votes off from him being an All NBA player. He was an All Star. He's proven himself that he is worth the money. And like I pointed out, 29 out of 30 teams are one Jaren Jackson Jr., and that calls for tough decisions to be made, one being Santi Aldama. We've reported this that the Pistons were interested in it, so definitely something to consider. And obviously, with Jaren Jackson Jr.'s extension, there's going to be space that needs to be opened up. And Aldama is a player that I think you can really get your value for. One team in particular that I wish they would consider a sign and trade with, or at least make calls for a sign and trade, is the Warriors. Obviously, the Warriors have Jonathan Kuminga, who I've advocated for that the Grizzlies should absolutely go for. But I'm not mad at what the Pistons have to offer. I just hope the Grizzlies know exactly what they want and they don't end up falling for a deal where they could have definitely gotten more from another team. As far as the Pistons, I don't really know who exactly the Grizzlies have made calls for, but we do know that they're potentially talking with the Pistons to make a deal done. So, strong possibility that the Salty Aldama era is also over in Memphis, which I got to be honest does not surprise me. I've gone on about Salty Aldama. He's had his ups and he's also had his downs. Let's talk about his ups. Heavily improved. At one point, it looked like Santi Aldama this year was contending for sixth man of the year, if not most improved player. But kind of stooped down to a level after a certain point in the season, and kind of stayed away from that. But it also kind of exposed some of the flaws that kind of went under the rug, such as his defense and his speed. Specifically, his speed on defense, which if you don't know, Santi Aldama at certain points became unplayable because he just was not that good of a defender. So definitely something that if another team gets that, that's part of the risk that you're going to get with Santi. But I know teams probably are going to put him in that position where he doesn't have to guard a five or a four all the time. Maybe even play the three. Who knows? But this is definitely something that if you're a Grizzlies fan, be optimistic of it because Santi Aldama has very good value. So you can definitely the Grizzlies can definitely get a good haul for him, and I can't wait to see what they try to figure out. Now, another rumor that has come out is the Grizzlies are reportedly making calls or may have called the Phoenix Suns regarding the trade for Devin Booker. Obviously, everybody's talking about Kevin Durant, but nobody's talking about Devin Booker, and the Grizzlies seem to be a player that could be Devin Booker seems to be a player that could be on the hunt for the Grizzlies. This really came right after the Desmond Bane trade. Um, I mean, if we're being honest, it already came out yesterday that Kevin Durant more than likely wants to go to the Spurs, Heat, or Rockets, but it also came out that he doesn't really want to go to the Spurs. So it's really between the Heat and Rockets. So the Kevin Durant experiment more than likely is over in Phoenix. That puts Devin Booker in a tough spot, a spot that he really hasn't seen since his first few years in Phoenix. I mean, without Chris Paul. I mean, a depleted team with a not so proven head coach, basically a situation that he started out in. And I'm almost sure that is a situation Devin Booker does not want to go through ever again. So the Grizzlies making a call at this time is absolutely perfect because you got a guy who wants to be on a contender again, and I'm almost sure if no if the Suns don't do what needs to be done to make Devin Booker happy, he's going to want a trade. So the Grizzlies decide, hey, let's get an early start on it. Now once again, this is a rumor, so there's no telling if they actually did make calls, but I would hope that they did. Now, with a guy like Devin Booker, I I mean, don't get me wrong, Devin Booker's a top 25 player, maybe top 20. I'd absolutely love a guy like Devin Booker on the Grizzlies. I just wonder what would you give up for Devin Booker, considering I don't think there's much that the Suns would want for a guy like that, but we've seen crazier things. I mean, nobody thought the Grizzlies would get four first round picks for Desmond Bane, so we've seen crazier things. It's just a matter of what the Grizzlies want to do. I mean, let's be honest, the Grizzlies are holding on to what is probably the biggest asset and draft pick for next year, which is the Phoenix Suns 2026 first round pick. So maybe there's a possibility that the Suns could want that pick back. I mean, if you look towards the future. Um, so definitely something to consider. I mean, I feel like the Grizzlies, unless you know exactly what you want to do with that first round pick, keep it. But if you don't, look to get some good value out of it because every team wants this pick right here. That is the one thing everybody said that the Grizzlies absolutely have probably one of the best picks going into next year. Honestly, with the departure of Kevin Durant, it may be without a doubt this probably will be a lottery pick for sure. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Just a matter of if the rumor is true or not. Now, only thing with rumors like that is you have to really consider who are you giving up, and we've gotten reports already saying that John Moran and Jaren Jackson they've essentially been known to be untouchable. Now, this doesn't come as a surprise to me. I think that when it comes down to it, you're trying to build your future around John Moran, and you want Jaren Jackson Jr. along the ride as well. I mean, this is a All NBA player at the end of the day. You may have your criticisms or not, but this is a All NBA player we're talking about. So yeah, this coming from ESPN, the Grizzlies are not looking to trade John Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr. Um, the only thing I'd say is John Morant. I 100% without a doubt will believe that he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere whatsoever. Now, the only thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. is I do believe that with the right offer, and I truly mean this, with the right offer, Jaren Jackson Jr. is up for grabs. I definitely do think the Grizzlies have to be careful when considering a deal like that, but I think for the right price, and especially a price that you cannot turn down, similar to a Desmond Bane type of trade, you have to kind of just think like, man, maybe it is worth pulling the trigger. Now, I don't want the Grizzlies to be in a pull the trigger mentality this offseason. I still want them to really think about what they're doing because at the end of the day, you're trying to build a championship roster. And we've seen this happen before where teams will make impulsive moves and it doesn't work out for the better. And you're stuck wondering, man, why did they make this deal or what were they thinking kind of thing. And I don't want the Grizzlies to do that. Now, granted, it'll be a while before we ever consider that with the Desmond Bane thing. But at the same time, just when it comes to John Moran and Jaren Jackson Jr., just don't make any impulsive decisions unless it is an offer that absolutely cannot be turned down and will help the future. So, I mean, what this would mean as far as them being untouchable, this would mean guys like Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams, and etc. all up for grabs. That goes without a doubt, all up for grabs. So definitely something that the national media should probably pay attention to because I've seen many narratives and it's been shut down so many times, but that seems to be the main topic when it comes to the Grizzlies is that John Moran and Jaren Jackson Jr. possibly getting traded. In fact, I read an article earlier today about from Bleacher Report talking about the 3 landing spots for John Moran. I'm like, why are we still talking about this when the team clearly said he's not getting traded? And when it comes to the national media, I do have a gripe with them because one of the things that I've had to hear since the Desmond Bane trade, and I got to be honest with you, this is no disrespect to Desmond Bane, but I never thought a trade involving Desmond Bane would really get the national media's attention, especially running a narrative like this, whether the Grizzlies are trying to rebuild or not. And my short answer is no. The Grizzlies are not trying to rebuild, and a lot of people think that because they're going after first round picks. But people got to understand, we're living in a time where draft capital is key for trades. You look at some of these trades, Rudy Gobert, Mikal Bridges, and Desmond Bane, just as prime examples. Teams like draft capital. They love having future. They love having the future in their hands. Everybody sees, and it really is the Oklahoma City Thunder effect. Teams understand that sitting on these picks actually does work. And with the new CBA, the second apron, a lot of teams can't run with super teams for any longer. So you have to rely on, getting good guys out of the draft and developing them. The days of just instantly getting guys and coming up with a super team and instant championship, those days are very limited now. You got to develop guys, because if you don't, you're not going to have a long-term championship team, and that's just the fact of reality. You need to develop players, and that's just simple as that. So my short answer is no. The Grizzlies aren't in rebuild mode. They're just building around Ja Morant, and I truly do think, along with everyone else, that the Grizzlies are thinking bigger here. They're thinking much bigger here, and I do think that there is a strong possibility we're going to see another trade happen. Will it involve one of the two players that we just named? Probably not. But there's no doubt in my mind that the Grizzlies are going after a star. And that's something that we have not really seen this offseason. All it's been is just, this will be a player that would fit good here. Never really the Grizzlies making calls or, really having the pieces to get a deal done. But everybody's looking at Memphis now. So do not be surprised if we see daily rumors from players all over the league. The Grizzlies have all the attention on them right now. Everybody wants to make a deal with Memphis, and they're working to try to get it done. So Zach Kleiman's phone is probably ringing off the hooks, and he's taking every call. So definitely something that, the Grizzlies should really take advantage of, because you don't get this opportunity much. I mean, I've been following the Grizzlies for a long time. It's never been this hype for an offseason. I mean, the last time I remember us being somewhat close to having a somewhat hyped up all season was back in 2017 when we signed Chandler Parsons, and that didn't work out at all. So definitely something that, as a Grizzlies fan, you don't want to take for granted. Can't pay attention to what the team is doing, and hopefully the team takes advantage of this, because right now you have all the attention. You have the cards in your favor. Deal them properly, and I promise we'll see some type of success for the Grizzlies. So I can't wait to hear what we find out over the course of days in this all season. I'm already excited. So definitely something that, if you're a Grizzlies fan, you need to look forward to it. But as for today, that's all I got for right now in Grizzlies Daily. Like I said, we're going to be following these rumors, man. The Grizzlies, like I said, they're the team that's making all the noise right now. Now, granted, the all season really did just start, so they're the only team that's worth talking about at the moment, other than the two teams in the NBA Finals. But this is just something that, a lot of teams are paying attention to. I mean, every hour or so, I'm seeing a tweet or a notification about the Grizzlies. So, hey, take advantage of it. And this is just something that we're all going to be focusing on. So, if you want more in the know of what goes on with the Grizzlies, make sure you subscribe to Grizzlies Daily and turn on post notifications to know when we upload again. And make sure you like this video and comment if you have any thoughts. Make sure to try to get to them and read them and respond back. As for this edition of Grizzlies Daily, my name is Malik, and I will see you all in the next video.